Hey, what's up guys? This is Vizio M55-C2 4K TV. It doesn't have HDR, but it does have a couple of things. It has full array of local dimming zones and also full array of LEDs. I think it's like 36 or 38 zones, which is backlit entirely. And what I'm gonna try to do here, this is a Prometheus 4K UHD Blu-ray disc. I'm playing it from a Samsung K8500 player, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you my custom picture settings. For those of you who still have this TV, I don't know, maybe you have this TV, or maybe you got a really good deal on it, you got it like really cheap, and you have this 4K TV, an entry-level TV. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm also doing it because I do have this TV, and it's like, why not do some calibrations on it since I do have it. Maybe some of you still have this TV, I don't know. But I'm doing it because I already have this TV, so why not do it? So I'm going to show you first some stills, and after I show you the stills from the movie, then I'm going to show you my calibration. I'm basically using stills second by second, step by step, just so I can show you how it looks. And I purposely position it this way so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it like this. My previous video with Samsung KS8000, because it's a big TV, 65-inch, I brought it in a little bit closer so you guys can see the color and everything that I'm doing here. It looks good. It looks good, but honestly, you know, the lack of HDR sometimes, you know, you notice when HDR it's missing, you notice that that pop, you know, the lack of pop, if you will, pop of color, pop of you know, detail, peak brightness that's missing. However, what this TV does have, as I said earlier, it has that full array of local dimming and full array of LED backlit, which also helps the viewing angle and also gives a good color. You know, it's good, considering this is a 3 years old 4K TV. Here's a really good shot right here. I wish that I can show you a movie, you know, moving picture, but I can't. The best way I can show you, it's like this. Okay, so I reposition my camera to the center so you guys can see a little bit better. It is a great detail. I mean, the explosion and the clouds in the background, the reflection of the explosion, the particles, it looks pretty good, you know. Here, let me show it to you from a different angle, really quick, like that, so you guys can see a little bit better. And then from this angle, like that. You know, that full local dimming definitely helps this TV with the deep dark levels, and a full array of LED backlit also helps with the deep dark levels. That's the one thing that Samsung KS8000 it's lacking. You know, edge-lit, never buy an edge-lit TV. That's just a no-no. Here's another great shot right here. You know, you have to remember some of these scenes are shot in 2K intermediate and then upscaled to 4K because of the CGI and the practical effect. I'm sorry. You got the practical effect with the CGI added, so they have to kind of sacrifice there and have it running in 2K intermediate to 4K. But either way, it looks good. I mean, this is a old 4K TV. It's a 55-inch 3-year-old 4K TV, but it still looks good. But obviously, if you have a bigger TV with HDR and quantum dot colors and higher peak brightness, you're gonna go with that TV. But if you don't, I mean, you're still gonna enjoy 4K even on this TV. I mean, it looks good. If you guys want to know what's the difference between this one and Samsung KS8000, obviously the difference is the higher peak brightness. that Samsung has, quantum dot technology that has in there as well. But what this TV has, and of course it doesn't have HDR, but what this TV has, it's that full array of local dimming and full array of LEDs that helps the viewing angles. It almost makes it look like an IPS panel, honestly. Alright, let me show you a couple more stills, and then I'm gonna jump into the calibration process of it. Alright, so let's do the calibration process here really quick. Alright, the first thing I'm going to show you is this right here. The picture mode I'm using is the standard mode. I turned the auto brightness control off. I never used that. In terms of the backlit, since this TV has a full array of LED backlit, I don't want to move it all the way to the maximum, because if you do that, if you move it all the way to the maximum, it's just blasting. It's very like vibrant. So I like to keep it at 83, and for this movie I think 83 is just the right amount. Brightness, I felt at 43 was an excellent way to bring down them deep dark levels a little bit darker. Contrast, I left it at 58. In case you guys are wondering why did I leave the contrast at 58, because if you go a little bit higher, like I just did now to 76, keep an eye here on these white brights over here, and look what happens when I move it to 58. Just keep an eye right here where my finger is. And look what happens when it goes to 58. You're not crushing your white brights. See, now you see that the particles and these little rendered smokes that comes out of it, okay, from the particle. You can see that little cloud of smoke right there that you weren't able to see. That's because you're not killing your white brights. When it comes to calibration, people, it's all about balancing. You want to balance things out, but depends on the movie. Like, this is a different type of a movie. It's shot differently. It uses a different camera, from 2K to 4K, intermediates. So it varies. So you have to kind of like adjust the calibration, and it's a different panel. This is a Vizio, a 3-year-old Vizio 4K panel, and you have to use different methods to calibrate. So let's rehash this really quick. Backlit 83, brightness 43, contrast 58, color 63. The reason I left color is 63 because this is not a quantum dot television. It's not an HDR, so I wanted a little bit of color to pop, so that's why I left it at 63. Tint, I never mess with the tint. Sharpness, it's at 50. But honestly, we're not going to do that. We'll keep the sharpness at 25. Actually, 35 is the right amount. Alright, so I left the sharpness at 35. And at 35, definitely, it brings the picture quality more smoother. It's not way too sharp in outline, because you know the thing with the sharpness, you don't want your sharpness to be way too outline, then it's gonna look kind of like comic book cartoonish, okay? So you want to keep it at as low as possible. So I left it at 35 here, which is good. Honestly, 35 is great. I mean, I could go to, if you want me to, I could go to 25, which is fine either. 25 is fine either. Let's go to some more pictures. Now, color temperature, I keep it at normal because I want to have that nice balanced normal tone of color. Black details, I left them at low because I want the deep dark levels to be as dark as possible. Active LED zones, they're on. Reduced judder, I barely used it, but I left it on medium. And of course, all the other filters, clear action, game low latency, turn that off. Film mode, automatic. Color space, automatic. And of course, gamma at 2.4. So I'm running out of time. There you have it, guys. Hopefully you write this down. These are my settings for Vizio M55-C2 Prometheus 4K player movie.